that appeal. Welcome you, the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you, the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. Good night from the Dusty Wheel. Like we say around here, smash to black.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is your live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And WoT Wednesday is back. Yes, Rafe tweeted last week and is now going to tweet every Wednesday. So we got that. But there's been so much Wheel of Time show news that we're just going to have a full show of that. JordanCon was this last week, and I had my voice back. I think I had my voice back, and they released some cast news, so we're gonna talk about that. And Sarah was tweeting a lot. Jay Duffy was tweeting a lot, and I have two guests tonight, and I think these are folks that are stalwarts in terms of Wheel of Time show news. So let me, without further ado, introduce them to the show because we have a lot to cover tonight. We have John from WoTUp and Omar from WoTSeries.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Thank you, guys. Wow, so much news, right? Were you expecting all this news? And I didn't even mention what we put as the kind of the main thing on there, because John, you released a video earlier today, didn't you?
I did this morning,
Yeah.
prior to any other official WoT Wednesday stuff.
Exactly. So many things. Were you guys expecting this? Last week we're gonna start getting stuff.
No.
All right. Hype. You feel hype, Omar?
Yeah.
No.
Omar needs a cup.
I mean, come on. I think one of the things that we want to talk about is season 2 premiere, right? When is season 2 dropping? And before we actually talk about why we were talking about this, we put up a poll on Twitter. Still, I think it's ended now. I don't have the exact results, but this is what it showed maybe about an hour ago. And so the poll was, when will season 2, premiere? And it seems like most people think we're going to have the premiere in November. I mean, it's a close kind of poll there, but people are saying November. So it's 2 years later. You guys excited about that? John, what do you think about that?
Yes. I'm just excited it's coming this year. I mean, the closest we got to an official answer was earlier this year when Rafe said it's coming this year.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have to wait for it to be as good as it can be, I'm quite happy to wait.
Yeah. If you go back to when Rafe said that, Omar, what was your best guess going to be?
Well, first of all, I take issue with the month of August showing up on any poll. I think we should pull that out. Nothing is ever about to be discussed in August. It's a month that does not exist, and it's reserved for the last 2 episodes of Origins, season 1, which will come in August in some year. But honestly, I always thought May, June, but I wasn't easy with it because I just didn't want my favorite show to drop when people are ready to go to summer. And earlier when we were discussing this, when Rafe was saying it, as much as I don't want to wait, I really think later in the year is not necessarily a bad thing. Glass half full view of looking at this is that if we wait a couple more months, the gap between season 2 and 3 is going to be shorter. So let's wait it out. Let's hope it's October, November. Why not? And then maybe a year from that, they'll be done. You know, they would have been done filming season 3, and then we get season 3 a year after season 2. So,
yeah, I think the fact that, you know, we want season 2 to be a hit. So if they're spending a lot of time doing VFX, if they're spending a lot of time making sure the product they put out is good, I'm all for that. And I think as long as it's this year, I think that, and I think Rafe has said that. And I think, you know, I think we have some more tidbits that we could probably talk about. So, did you guys see this? And I mean, of course you saw this, John. There was this Twitch stream that is it Captain Popcorn? Is that the
Captain Popcorn? Yeah,
Captain Popcorn, a French a streamer who interviewed Brandon and Harriet, and you know, they were just talking about the books and how the sales were, and Harriet, you know, mentioned in passing about the show, and there was a show last year and how that affected sales. And while she was talking, mentioned, you know, the season 2 is coming this fall, but quickly backtracked, you know, as not as in, well, at least to me, didn't seem like she, you know, let too much loose. It was more like, well, we're not sure. They keep it, you know, they keep it kind of hidden and secret, and we'll find out. And she kept talking. What did you make of that exchange? Omar, let me go to you first.
well, when I first heard about it, and I watched her video yesterday, or was it today, this morning, right? I don't know.
This morning, yeah.
But yeah, when I watched the video this morning, the first thing that came to mind is like, here goes Twitter time arguing on when fall starts. And then obviously some people say, you people in the US are stupid, it's called autumn. And then like, how about the Southern Hemisphere? But I honestly think, like, right away when I heard it, I just thought this is going to push it back a little bit later than I thought. Didn't have a problem with it one way or the other, but figured, you know, sometimes when you just speaking freely on a show like this, something that's known to you for quite some time might just very easily slip out. Which is, again, we've had a very similar thing happen during season 1 when a family of you know, cast member also let out that it was going to be in the middle of month X, and then we were arguing about, is the 19th the middle of the month, or you know, stuff like that. But yeah, when I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is going to be in the fall. So
yeah, I mean, the other thing is, you know, this is how reliable a time frame is. The Wheel of Time official account said August and never gave it to us. So this is, you know, a throw, you know, yeah. So this is how much we how much we should take stock in this. But I think any news about time frame is going to get the fans excited, right? And even though we probably thought it was going to be fall-ish, and you know, if you can't really expect early summer, maybe late summer would have been a possibility, because early summer would mean we should start seeing stuff now, right, John?
Yeah, they start marketing one, Omar, usually at minimum a month out, but usually 2 months out for something like this ish. We'll probably see the teaser trailer and the Comic Cons, probably get a release date if it's this fall. I mean, we could probably just look at exactly what they did for season 1 if we're thinking November. When do we get a release date? Was it August? We got a release date.
I feel like people ask Geeky Harry this like every few weeks, and she answers this.
We got the poster. Remember, we got the poster in Comic-Con that said November on it.
Oh yeah, that's
San
right.
Diego
So
Comic-Con.
October. So it was October something. Is New York Comic Con?
No, this was the San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, San Diego
When they released
Comic-Con, okay.
When they released the poster, which was in July.
Right.
And
Okay.
then it said November on it, and they didn't say exactly when until later.
Right. So
we get a month then, which was good.
Yeah. And the other thing, before I jump onto this other piece of news here, people are talking about. This is Jorley. I seriously can't see a biannual schedule going forward that John, you speculated. So. It is kind of sad to imagine that we get, season 2 and it's 2025 until we get season 3. So by that reckoning, season 8 is, I can't even do the math, it's just so long, it's so far away.
I'll be retired. So when I speculated that, it was more of a what if. It's definitely a possibility. It doesn't mean that they can't keep filming. If that's their plan, if they always want to keep the fall as a major fantasy flagship and not take away from the other property for the full year, which is kind of sort of what they did with Lord of the Rings last year. They really didn't want to talk about anything other than Lord of the Rings for quite some time. They could leapfrog it year to year and just keep filming and all the footage. That way the age of the actors doesn't really matter because they're going to have banked footage. Do I think that's incredibly likely that they're going to do that? No, but it's a possibility.
Right.
I think going back to what Omar said earlier, where we're a couple of months closer to season 3, if we wait a couple more months is totally true. I think as the VFX companies catch up, as the backlog clears, I think I've had a few people tell me that the backlog is 6 months ish right now, and it's slowly going down, and that they're hoping to clear it within the next year or two, because COVID is more normalized now, and there's less demand on them. We may go back to seeing. I would love to see a spring Wheel of Time, fall Lord of the Rings, or vice versa. They're separated by 6 months or so, but once a year. Will that happen? I don't know. I think once a year might be too quick for something like the Wheel of Time with the amount of work they got to put into it, but it's also possible.
Right. So Matt put in chat that it was about 110 to 120 days between poster release and show premiere. So about, what is that, 4 months? I just ended this poll, will season 2 be a fall release? 34% of people said yes, it was the truth. 30% said yes, but it was just speculation. So people actually don't think, that was just a hoping that it would be in there's only August. And I tried to I Googled this so many times. Is August considered fall in any part of the world? And I did get a yes. So I was like, yeah, it still can be August. So
could be any time.
Could be any time.
But the person who said it is from South Carolina. So
right, exactly.
We're just fall in South Carolina, and that's what we're going by.
That is true. Let me put this in. Poll this. It's something that you said, Omar. Is would season 3 come sooner if season 2 is released at the end of the year? So what do people think about that? I think I put this in right, for a poll. So let's see if people believe that if the release date does get posted, it still doesn't affect season 3 release date. I hope it does. It won't, but we'll find out. So yeah, this other article that came out, I think it's the Prague Reporter, that since changed from what the original article was, and by the time I saw it, it was changed. So let me just put that up and highlight that first paragraph that says, season 2 of The Wheel of Time, which suffered a difficult shoot as a result of the pandemic and related restrictions in 2020 and 2021, is expected to debut on Prime Video later this year. So I think the original version of this article said summer.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't think I ever really believed that, unless August wasn't an option, because, yes, that could be. But I'm glad they changed it. And I think there's a comment where the person who wrote the article mentioned at the bottom in their comment section. I don't remember the exact wording of it, but it was like, well, they don't have actual information. It was like based on. I think they were tracking back, so it's hard to know exactly what they meant. I don't know how much stock you put into this, Omar.
Well, here's one of the ways I look at this, and I swear I'm not bragging here, but John and WoTSeries, our crew, we've been quoted in similar articles on it. Like some people actually end up using the material that we put out to write up news. In an article like this, if somebody says, according to sources associated with production, or according to somebody from the crew or company X that works on it, unless they're sourcing their information, it's probably something they saw. Because at the end of the day, John exclusively, I think for the most part, covers Wheel of Time. We exclusively cover the Wheel of Time. We're very invested in every piece of content we put out. So we're checking. We want to make sure that we get accuracy. When you see stories like this, it's a quota. They got to put out articles. Again, not to take away from the value of it. There is value. There are people reading it, and we appreciate the coverage for the Wheel of Time. Yeah. But I think on some of the details, hey, it's out in the ether that this might release in the summer. So that makes into my article. So that's how much stock I put in something like this. When I see a variety piece that does source or say, according to sources or this and that, 2 independent sources, anonymous, on background, something like that, I will take that and say, yeah, that's solid. But when I see something not sourced, I don't put too much stock in.
Yeah, and a lot of times these articles, when they do source, say WoTSeries or myself, I don't know about you, but they don't ever reach out to me. So they never reach out to me and say, what are your sources? Where did you get this? How do you know this? They just watch the video and go, cool, and make an article about it.
That's
which
true,
is, I super appreciate the publicity, and I love the fact that they're talking about Wheel of Time. But again, it's like Omar said, it's one of those things you take it with a grain of salt. And I say it all the time on my channel, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Even when I get sourced information, it's all subject to change. I think before the first season ended airing, I had a source let me know that they tentatively were scheduled to release season 2 end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter 2023. And I thought that was too late. Fantastical at the time. Right. And now here we are, basically in the second quarter of 2023 without a release date. So it's things are fluid, obviously.
Yeah. I'm just going to go back to what you started with, Omar. You guys are a big deal. I mean, the fact, yes.
Yes, you are, Omar.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
You guys are fantastic.
Exactly. And John, you too. If you say something, I'm going to believe it. So you can say that take it with a grain of salt, but I'll believe when you said November. I don't want to, but I'll believe that.
And to be clear, I'm sorry, but we actually, I can say, just to be honest, we do not have any insight or knowledge of when it's going to drop. This is conjecture on my part, and I think my friends and colleagues from WoTSeries might have different thoughts on this. Right. But that's my best guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So I put Lumen super chat. Thank you for the tip. The way to August will come but once. Be steadfast. the number of August comments in chat since we said August. I mean, this is the power of August. I've talked about this before. That it's just it's crazy. So yeah, I think to kind of wrap that up. I think fall makes sense. I think giving them more time makes sense, and that means we have at least what are we? Almost May. At least 4 months or so of hyping this. So maybe we're not going to get too much more in the next couple of months, but maybe a San Diego Comic-Con some teaser. Does that sound about right to you guys? Or poster?
I think we'll get something at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean that's July, I think it's 20 something. So I think that would be a good time frame to start getting.
Or they want to drop it all in WotCon, just drop the whole.
It's 1 week. Sure. Yeah, so WotCon is 1 week before San Diego Comic-Con.
The choice is obvious here.
Exactly. Right? Hey, an exclusive screening for the WotCon folks. Yeah. I wonder. That would be crazy if that happens. That would be super crazy. I mean, the August again. The Golden Crane flies for August. I mean, yes, Blue Aja Beetle. That is true.
That's a good one.
So I think I think any release time frame is always going to be awesome, and the fact that we have that, I think, definitely gets the fandom going. And I'm excited, even though it is months away. I think just that talk is good. So thank you, Harriet. I mean, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Even though we're still gonna continue to clown and hope it comes earlier.
In February of 2023.
Yes, exactly. All right. So let me move on. So the one thing that Rafe basically said was he's gonna do a WoT Wednesday drop every week. And he started last week and gave us that, the shot of all the actors and, teased Mirasial. And then you guys at WoTSeries just went, super sleuth and got it all down. So he did that. And today it was this tweet that he put out. This is Rafe saying, "Happy WoT Wednesday. One thing I haven't seen a ton of chatter on are Swan's tattoos. Our team worked with an artist to build a language of tattoos that Terrans add to through life. Swan's back is the fingers of the dragon delta where she grew up." So what do you guys think of that? And there's another tweet that I'll show in a bit, but there must be some significance to this, the fact that he's showing this, right? And what the numbering of let me show that again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's certain patterns and curves where these pins are. There must be something. There must be tidbits they want us to look into. And I tried, and I was like, this makes no sense to me. But there must be there must be something here.
Well, if you add 213, which is 213, plus 45, plus 6 from the first of the year, that gives you September 22nd, which is the true release date. That's what I read into it.
This is perfect. This is the content that you want to tune into. Is but not to be I think those numbers honestly, I think they're just the pieces of the tattoo sticker that just that's what they are, I think.
They'll put them on as separate pieces to make them line up a bit better. Yeah.
But why not put one where where it should be? Why is 2 on that side? Or is that because that's how they made that one first?
So you could also ask the question of why do they spell the name differently 3 times?
Exactly.
So,
he does answer that. I didn't put that up, but he does answer. Yeah.
But I don't know if there's significance to this particular thing, or if it's Rafe was given leeway because of how successful season 1 was, and they know that they're going to hype up season 2 soon. And this is just stuff he has that's safe to share. So he may have a whole catalog of things that are safe to share. He may have a rhyme or reason to it. There may be a plan, but likely what it is I think this will be cool to share this week.
Yeah, I think he's basically engaging fans and being like, hey, what can I show on my phone and easily tweet out, right? I think that's probably what it is, but it's not going to it's not going to stop us. I saw Kevin comment this. I don't know. Welcome to the Theory Crew, Omar. I don't know if you know the Theory Crew, but you are now part of it. You were always part of it, but now you've officially been inducted by Kevin. So there's a secret meeting. We'll clue you in with all the theories. But about this. This is a live call-in talk show. So call in, let us know what you think of the Fingers of the Dragon Delta and the meaning of these numbers. The numbers on the screen is 313-TALK-WoT, 313-825-5968. Call and let us know what your thoughts on this drop is. I tried hard, but I'm still figuring out how to run this show. So I was like, that's more important than me figuring out what the Fingers of the Dragon mean. So
and one thing to mention too, by the way, as you'd imagine, I would like to quote Geeky Airy here. I swear I'm not a creeper. None of us in the group are, but we over 4+ years now, we've been following cast and crew. And I really think if I there might be a reason why Rafe is sharing this, but I think that the simple answer here is there's a lot of work that goes into every little detail. I mean, we see the tattoo on someone. We see, there are people actually covering the cast's existing tattoos and then putting other tattoos and makeup. There's a lot of stuff, and I think they do take pride in this stuff. there's a backstory to everything, every thread in a dress, every color, every piece of tattoo. So I think honestly, it's just kind of like an homage or an ode to the crew that works really hard. And a lot of people say that this production is not taking the book seriously. I think they do more than we can ever imagine. They put a backstory behind a backstory behind a backstory. And when I see this kind of stuff, this is the kind of stuff I like personally, because it just shows you all the, hundreds and thousands of people behind the show that work so hard for us to see something. And sometimes some people criticize out of hand without even giving it a chance. So I hope we continue to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, Swan's tattoos had airtime of, let's say, and this is a guess on my part, but I'd say probably 20 minutes out of the first season. Ish.
Yeah.
And the amount of time put into it, like Omar said, with the backstory and thinking of how this would fit in, writing it up, making each tattoo have meaning, and probably a story for each tattoo, just so they could continue on and keep continuity later on.
Right.
For 20 minutes of a background effect, so to speak, or a makeup effect that most people would not glance at more than once. Realistically, like a lot of the hardcore fans will look at it and analyze it and whatnot, but most people will look at that and say that's cool, and they'll appreciate it for how it looks, but that's pretty much it, and then they forget about it later on.
Right.
So like Omar said, I think a lot of what we may see is things that they put in a lot of time and effort that are not normally recognized. And I love that too, Omar. That's it, like I love seeing that kind of stuff. I follow a lot of the VFX artists and stuff, just because I enjoy seeing their work and all the work put into it. And I'm a big practical effects person anyway. I don't like computer generated effects much. So seeing stuff like this, the actual makeup effects and stuff, and the time and effort put into it, and the talent just blows me away.
I know one person who actually might get this tattoo on their back.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Cool.
that was John's bet to Rafe on Twitter. So.
Yeah. It's like as I said to him.
All right. I mean, the people are just going, this is why I love chat. Ricardo's channel is like, the numbers are the combination to the safe that holds Calendar. I mean, it's, she's from Tier. That makes sense. Andrew is like, the numbers are the crew's lunch preferences. That's what it is. Chat is just awesome. And then I think there's one I wanted to say, Ari is a magician, as all of you guys. I mean, yes, getting this information to us is just awesome. Let me show you what he followed up with Rafe, and basically said Swan has a number of tattoos that match up with her dad's because of the life story they share, but also new ones from her life after she left. You can follow the tattoos to see her story. So I think that's when I read that, then I was like, maybe the order of those number makes sense, and that's how I tried to think of it. But me trying to artistically figure out like, oh, this one is a father life memory, this is a Moraine life. I couldn't see it. I'm sure hopefully there are people who are able to put on those theories but maybe it is just theory. Yeah, okay.
Here's a theory that the two pins that are holding up the top middle part of the tattoo, one of them has a blue head and the other one has a red head. Are those representative of Elaida and Swan, or is it just coincidence that that's what they use to pin them to the board? Okay. Right? All right.
So I see what you see right there. Yeah. And then the top. Yep. Yeah. I am right now not gonna try to zoom in, but I see what you mean there. So maybe it's like Leandrin and Moraine, because there's some history there too, right? Yeah. So I like that, a live theory.
Production team or cast is going to see this someday and go, what is wrong with these people?
100%.
To be honest, that ship has left. They know how what we're all about, and yeah, I think that happened a long time ago. I do see a couple of people calling, so maybe someone is calling about these theories. So let's see. Let's welcome our first caller and see if they have any thoughts about this. Let's see here. All right. Welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Anas, it's Village Mattress.
Hi, Village Mattress. It's good to hear your voice again. We met not too long ago. This is a live call and talk show, so thank you for calling in. So what do you think these numbers mean? Do you have a theory for us?
Well, I think it might be a key to the release date of the show.
Okay.
If you add up the numbers, it's like 12 on one side, and the other side is 9, so December 9th.
Okay. December 9th. Oh, okay. So you're even going farther than... Okay.
If you go down. But the other thing I want to bring up is I appeared on Friday night before the pizza party, and Matt Hatch asked me what was going to be dropped on WoT Wednesdays. And I said, still photos. And this is a still photo of a tattoo from season 1, and he scoffed at my suggestion. So I just wanted to make that point.
So clearly,
that I got ridiculed harshly.
Okay, I this might be surprising, but the scoff was trying to throw you off. You know that, right? He knew this was coming, so he was just being like trying to throw you. Oh, yeah. So he knew, and he was like, "Yeah, no, that's never going to be." He's trying to change your mind. I think that's what it was. But no, I'm glad you guessed that, and this is the sort of stuff that really I feel any sort of engagement from the fans is awesome, and it's great that we got this. What else from this? Do you have any other thoughts about some of the things Rafe said about the life stories and things like that? Is there do you think the pattern means something on the actual tattoo?
I just haven't thought that deeply about it today. I was kind of busy at work, so but I will think on it further and try and puzzle it out. Because we really don't get a lot of her backstory in the books. So I think it's getting. I think it's something that they're fleshing out maybe for the show that wasn't necessarily in the books, unless they have access to some things in the notes that we're not aware of. So
this is a live theory that I'm coming up. This is the visual representation of how Swan is going to help Moraine come out of her shield. So these are the unweaving of the shield, that happened at the end of episode 8. Why would that be the tattoo on Swan? I don't know, but there you go. Thank you so much for calling.
Maybe it's
Village Mattress. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thanks, Anna. You guys have a great show.
Yeah, no, thank you. Keep watching. We'll see you back in chat, and we have a lot more to talk about. So yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you back in chat. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. So yeah, I think it's cool. We got another another tidbit from Rafe. What do you think we're gonna get next week? Any predictions, Omar?
John, go first. I don't know.
If I had to guess, I'd say we're gonna get a costume next week.
Okay, that is, I like that. That would be on point. What I'm hoping for, Omar, let me go first, is some prop. So maybe the axe, or Dane's sword, or something like that. That's important. We've seen the horn. It doesn't make sense to see the horn, but some sort of prop like that, I think would be cool to see. I think that's one thing they can show. Omar, you got any thoughts before we kind of move on to the next thing?
I would like to it's always nice when you see, some of it is organic when you see some of the engagement from cast and crew and stuff like that. If we get some just sanctioned stuff, a message or a small interview, it was really nice. Jordan Kahn does deserve to get that Q&A every year. It's a good tradition to continue doing. But if you do one of those small things where just get some cast member to say something, or show up, like I said, not just the prop, but the prop with a cast member or the crew member or somebody talking about it. That'd be really, really nice. I would really appreciate that.
So you want an actual kind of video, something?
Yeah.
The only reason.
So were you asking what I wanted or what I thought we would get? Because I told you what I thought we would get, but what I want is Gallon's casting. But we're never going to get that. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I doubt. I mean, I would want Rafe to on a WoT Wednesday give us casting. That would be cool. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that will happen. You're right. I don't.
No,
I just.
No. I think it'll be like sanctioned stuff from season 1 from what he has. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Which again, we're happy for anything that Rafe gives us. I mean, that's awesome. Let me kind of move up to. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna check. See this poll. See what people were saying. So. Let's see what the results are. So I asked, would season 3 come sooner if season 2 is released at the end of the year? About 60% of people said yes. So people think it'll probably still take longer, which I probably agree with to some degree, because you're right. Rings of Power is going to sway that, not just production time and all of that. So hopefully, they're able to find a earlier time in the year for Rings of Power, and then Wheel of Time can still come out, at a decent time.
Can I be a total Wheel of Time fan here and just say something that's not necessarily? Here's the way I look at it. With season 1 having faced some issues from COVID, and the last 2 episodes were kind of disappointing for a lot of people, and it ended on I don't want to say a bad note, but just kind of it didn't give us the crescendo that we're hoping for. Now you get season 2. You guys got all the time in the world. COVID is out of the picture. You have you're spending more time and money on VFX and all that. So I think season 1 is going to get compared to season 2. But we know that season 1 of Wheel of Time, as far as completion percentages, did better than Rings of Power. So I honestly would say that if Wheel of Time takes all the time, and the comparison between season 1 and 2, which will happen, and if they hit it out of the park with season 2, I just don't see why Wheel of Time would take. I mean, if it does what it's supposed to do, the story is amazing, and it achieves really, really good numbers, and it escalates, and it gives us a finale that's worthy. What they should have done, but were put under the COVID pressures. If we get that in season 2, then honestly, why should Wheel of Time not keep its time slot even and be only a month or 2 away from Rings of Power? Rings of Power season 1, I understand that after so much money they spent, they needed the space. It had to suck all the air out of the room. Mm-hmm. But if season 2 of Wheel of Time is amazing, then I think I would expect them not to give as much weight as they did for season 1 of Rings of Power. Let it occupy its space, but not that big of space. So just want to put that on.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. So Map says episode titles. I take that. I think this man knows stuff. A script picture of a script page. That is Rafe. That is trademark Rafe. So maybe we'll get that. That would be cool. I think that might happen. Cool. And he did that like back in 2018 when he was doing WoT Wednesday.
Yeah, before he started. Yeah,
exactly. It was long. So I think that there's precedent that Rafe would do that. Yeah. Maybe Amazon obviously is different now. So I do see a couple more calls. Let me. I'm going to move on to the next thing, and then I'll bring them in to talk about our next. The next thing I wanted to talk about is kind of go back to our video from Saturday, and we touched upon this a little bit. But what do you guys think about? And Sarah has put in some new comments. Where were Rafe and Sarah sitting? What is that set? And I think so. I have a couple of pictures I'm going to show you guys. So the first one is this. This is Rafe, looking awesome, and you can see that kind of arch on the right side, and this one panel on the left side, and a little bit of pedestal type lowered. You can see there's a step down, and then the next image is Sarah, which looks to me to be the exact same place. However, Sarah was like, when asked, was like, it was 2 different studio sets. So what do you guys make of that?
No, but is she talking about them at two different studio sets, or is she talking about the comparison between the caves that it appeared that they used the same set for two different scenes?
That's how I took it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the one with the pool with the Egwene, and then there's the use with Bain in a cave. I think that's what she was talking about.
Okay,
I think so too. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that makes sense. But so you think what we're seeing with Rafe and Sarah are probably the same set?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I saw some comments below. I think Lauren was talking about they look the same, and I read it in that thread, and I think that's what I. So that makes sense. What do you think this is? So I'm gonna put a poll in there, and we did this poll back on Saturday when we broke this down. What is the set Sarah and Rafe are sitting at? I put accepted test, Ruidian/Waste, Falma, and Stone of Tyr. Does those sound good to you as choices, or is there something else you want to add to that?
No, those are actually, I have the video coming up this probably Saturday, and those are the choices in my videos.
I don't agree with my initial reaction when I saw it was just kind of dumb, because when I saw those things that looked like columns, they looked like almost like a giant elephant or sredit, like tusks that are carved.
Oh
yeah, so I thought like maybe we're Chen. Like again, that was my very first reaction. And then when the smarter people start talking, I was like, yeah, I'm wrong. All right. That was my initial, because it looked like my mind totally didn't go columns of tier, and it definitely didn't go the accepted like arches. So it went somewhere different.
All right, I changed my Falma, and in parentheses I put Sanchen related. So Sanchen stuff in Falma. So add that in there. So let's see. I'll put that in there. Let me see. Bring in our second caller here, who's been waiting for a little while, and see what they have to say. All right, let's see here. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Hi, it's Thatcher. First time caller, longish time, about a year and a half now, just catching up on live streams and stuff.
Awesome. Thank you for calling.
Welcome.
Yeah, hey everybody.
Yeah. So what do you think about what we just shared and this poll that I put out there? Do you have an opinion on where Sarah and Rafe are sitting?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely thinking it's the accepted room. I mean, Matt's theory that the arches were on the moving pedestals, I think is really strong. Just like moved to the side, because they were spaced a little far apart to be the connected arches. I'm hoping they'll move them.
Okay.
And I think the stone walls are pretty clear. The old part of the tower in the basement. That's the description's very strong.
Yeah. I would tend to agree, and I'm just looking at the poll. That seems to be the leading front runner on there. I think it would make sense based on what the comments they made in the video too, in terms of washing and some of the things that were said, and I think there is definitely a very strong narrative that you can paint from any accepted test, whether it be Egwene's or Nynaeve's, and I think that would be really cool to see, and a memorable sort of scene from season 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff, I'm just really excited to see it for the first time with like really polished graphics. I'm happy that they're taking their time with it.
Yeah. Well, did you have any other thoughts that you wanted to share with us? Anything else that you wanted to mention?
Well, mostly just from today's Twitter interactions was really great. It was, I had a lot of really good back and forth with Sarah today. It was really nice to talk to her and have that reassurance of, her fighting the good fight for us. That was really cool.
Yeah.
That she would take the time to answer us so directly.
Yeah, no, I think that was awesome
really
to
briefly,
see.
I want to take a second to. Sorry. Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to take a second to shout out to John. Through I got into the Wheel of Time through my professor, Sargon Donabed, who I know you guys know. And you were my introduction to the Wheel of Time YouTube world through him, and you came and spoke to our class when we read the first 3 books for credit.
That's awesome.
So it's just really cool to talk to you guys.
Yeah, John is a celebrity. So yeah, thank you, John.
I'm just a big fan. That's all I am.
Yeah,
he's in the show as Uno, by the
way. He's Guy Roberts, double. That's
I'm the prettier one.
No, thank you so much for calling. And call back. I'm trying to remember. I called to the show. Wow, it's been about back in November or even earlier of 20 when the show was coming out. So I'm sitting here now. It's crazy. So call back. I will see you in chat.
Will do.
Yeah, and thank you for contributing. Thanks a lot. That was awesome. I'm glad he mentioned Sarah, and I want to put up this tweet, which I thought was just awesome, right? So Sarah said, in response to fighting that good fight, that it's not easy. I felt like I failed so many times just yesterday. I nearly cried twice today, but the battles I fight are worth it. And even though I was frustrated, I came in at dawn, got to work, and throughout today, ultimately won several of the fights I was most concerned about. I mean, the lights work, right? This is, Sarah interacting, being kind of our representative with the crew there in the writer's room. I think we can't ask for a better advocate.
She's the best of us, 100%.
Yeah. And you see that in so many different facets. This is just one way where she's, talking. So this is interesting. Yeah. Okay.
If you.
That was that's why I did it. Yeah, that's what happened. That's good. But yeah, no, I mean, Sarah is just she was so excited on Saturday that she was like, hey, can I see everyone's reaction to the news dropping? She wanted to see all of us, who were at JordanCon, seeing that. And I think Megan, you're right. She's a gift. She really is. Matt's like, I want to know about these fights so much.
Bears 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. Bears 2.0. But no, that is awesome. Thank you for calling. And yeah, Sarah is awesome. Let me actually end this poll, unless you guys have anything to say about not the accepted test and maybe Ruidian, because you could make an argument that they might show Ruidian in season 2 as wise ones talking to the maidens, sending them on their quest or something. But that's not a memorable scene, so I really don't think that's. Yeah.
I think one of the other things, not an original thought, but very plausible one, I think, especially with reference to the blood, because we did see in, I think in one of the teasers when they wrapped filming, there's a body double who's covered in blood that's supposed to be Celine. So, I mean, I understand that there might be blood of somebody coming out of the testing for the accepted. But the amount of blood that you have, like when you say somebody's scratched or something like that, they're not oozing blood. You don't have to clean up the blood. But the way, at least my memory of what Rafe was saying, there's a lot of blood on set and they have to clean it up. Maybe this is just the boar. Maybe this is Sheryl Gould. Maybe this is Ishamael freeing, Celine and the others to come out. Maybe it could be that.
Yeah. There's so many choices there, but I think the accepted test just opens the possibilities so much that it's the front runner. And let me just actually end this poll.
Yeah, and we know for a fact that there will be an accepted test because there was a casting for Nynaeve's mother.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells us that we're definitely going to get an accepted test.
Yeah, it's a clear
at
front
least
runner.
one in the second season. Yeah,
clear front runner in this poll. Yeah, go ahead, John.
And I think Rafe had mentioned that he said as well as season 3. So it's a set that'll be used again.
Okay.
And for me, at the very least, this is a room that has to do with the power. And there is irrefutable proof in the pictures. And I kind of showcase it in the video I'm putting out, but basically the carvings on the walls match the opening sequence of the show. So if you're looking at the opening sequence of the show and you have all of the wonderful like starbursts and whatnot around the Ice to Ice heads, and then you have the pattern being woven with a big starburst in the ground, the carvings in the background they're not identical, but they're pretty damn close to those ones when you have to contrast and take a look at them. So
right,
at the very least, the room has something to do with the power. So that's why I lean toward the accepted test room.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, when I think you're referring to in the intro sequence where they have all the Aes Sedai kind of pictures
the
with the
beautiful
colors.
animation it has.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that how that looks. Yeah, I agree. I'm loving all the love for Sarah in chat. There's people saying, I think Kevin said, I can't seem to find it anymore, but Kevin said something like a cameo for Sarah when the horn is blown, because she is a hero. That is very apt.
Nice.
That's
cool.
Well said. Any other thoughts about that before we move on to our next kind of thing? I think this is now Matt wanted me to show this because he clearly spent hours doing this, but what do you guys think about this? The ear analysis back 3 years. Well, 3 years later, we have more. We have the ear.
Yeah, this is this was.
I'm trying to think. 2019.
2019. Yeah, 3.5 years then.
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy that we're coming full circle. We finally have ear analysis, and he wanted me to play the video, the GIF, and I was like, I'm okay. I think this is good enough. Everyone believes you. Well done. But it was there. He was shown in that fight what seems to be in Falma, because we see Loyal in the background. We see Sanshin fighters. We see White Cloaks, and this seems to be a battle. And it would make sense that Dain Bornhald is there, and I think in the background you could see his
Joffrey's right behind him.
Yeah, exactly. So that again makes sense. So what do you make of? What do you think that scene is all about? And he said so much in his little talk about his character. Any thoughts about making we now know he's there? Dain is part of the show. John, you want to? Any thoughts about that?
Well, Dain's sent away, and he's not taking part in the big battle at the end of the Great Hunt.
Right.
And that's part of the reason he loathes pairings.
Mm-hmm.
He blames him for that, and he blames him for the death of his father. Yeah. So, it's possible they changed it so he is part of that big battle, and he just survives. And I think that if they're going to make Dain a little bit more of a central character, and they're going to have Joffrey pass the torch to his son, I think this could be the huge Battle of Falma at the end, because there's a lot of leaked footage of the battle. There's so much leaked footage of that battle. And you see Shan Chan, you see what appears to be Heroes of the Horn there. You see the White Cloaks. You see some of the main cast on set at the same time. So I think it's likely the Battle of Falma, and I think it's likely he's there, and that I hope we see some sort of heartfelt moment between father and son that really makes us love to hate Dain.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to put this poll in chat and then give what the actual poll is. Omar, you have any thoughts on how that will play out? Anything there?
Yeah, well, at first, what I remember when that teaser came out and we were all, viewing it frame by frame, I almost didn't want to believe that was Dain, because when we first saw the casting, or the casting was leaked about Jay Duffy, I think he was, at least for a lot of people, is he Gawain or is he Dain or is he somebody else? Yeah, and then if it's Gawain, then are they merging Gawain and Galad and accelerating Galad joining the White Cloaks? Because what the hell is he doing? And then is he really a White Cloak? And is his costume really white? Or is he just fighting with him? But anyways, now that we know he's Dain, he's in the thick of it. He's a White Cloak. He's with his dad. A little bit different. But that particular scene where they're fighting, it could be, I'm not discounting it, that it could be the actual final battle of Falma that we see. But for me, it's just kind of like, and again, this is movie filmmaking. They can actually take two places and merge them. But where that particular scene was filmed looks like completely different than Isuwaira, where they were like by the ocean. And
Right.
they were filming, and where the heroes come in, that's where they're like a lot of the leaked footage. There were Shanchan soldiers, and there were the Heroes of the Horn there. And I'm not sure if those are two. It looks like the White Cloaks in the books did have run-ins with Shanchan on the outskirts of Falma and different places.
Yeah,
so
yeah, off
it's
page,
not,
100%.
Yeah. It's not necessarily that. Maybe we find more than one encounter. The White Cloaks attacking the keep, where Turok, we see him with his Death Watch guard around him, and they're attacking, and they penetrate. That's one battle that they have of sorts. But then the final battle with the Heroes of the Horn comes back later. So that's at least how cadence-wise, that's how I see it.
I like that.
Before,
go ahead.
I just want to mention I've been corrected in chat, and I was wrong. It was Bayer that was sent away, not Dain. Misremembered that.
Yeah, and Bayer goes and talks to Dain.
Yeah. And Bayer goes and talks to Dain. Yes. Yeah.
Right. And I think so. I'm just gonna put this in. I think this is more for comic relief than anything. If anyone gets the reference, they'll get it. But I agree. I think that that battle that we see, that's too small for what I'm hoping that last battle with the heroes would be. Because if that is the scale of the battle where the heroes show up, I don't like that. So I'm hoping, Omar, you're right, that this is a smaller part of the battle, and then the bigger battle is a bigger scale, and I think that would be good. So yeah, let's see what people say about this poll, and how whether they get the third option. But yeah, I think
for most of the chat they do.
I mean,
that was a good one.
I know it's I mean, this is the brilliance of Alex and Jake, right? It's just awesome. Let's see. I think I have another thing for Dain here. Just give me 1 second. No, I don't. I have something that relates to that picture. And this is the brilliance of this fandom, right? You talk about ear analysis, you talk about theory crew, and what you get is a WOT ear database. This is it's just awesome. And I see a caller show up, and it will bring them shortly. But this is just brilliant. This is Aiel on Twitter who put this out, and it's like,
that's good,
amazing work, right? You now have, and the funny thing is, and this could be, this WoTSeries, like, yeah, we have all of that. We've had that for ages. This is old news. Does that make sense?
They have a whole wall of body parts.
I mean, if Sarah can identify a pixel of Eamon Walda's Abdul Salis's head and be like, yeah, brown background, that's his portrait.
That's the same, 100%.
Yeah, it's the same. So I think there is an alternate version of the ear database that exists in WoTSeries treasures.
By the way, you know how Rafe, when we posted that board with all the photos, and he's like, I am impressed and disturbed. I think what would make him really disturbed, because I was like, my dude, any one of us, like the four of us at WoTSeries, would have picked off at least six of those partial photos without doing any research, which is the sad part of all of it. We thought we went and did like a lot of work. Yes, we did on some of them, but most of them was like, yeah, this one is this one, this one, this one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like this. If people don't know, the WOT ear database belongs on their writer's wall, and this is what the writer's room did back for season 1. I 100% agree. That is that should happen, and I hope Sarah sees it, and Rafe sees it and puts it on. But I mean, that's just going forward. We're just going to continue to do that. Continue to do these analyses and get that.
It's fun. It's fun.
It is amazing fun. I mean, and that's the type of accurate analysis that we here at the Dusty Wheel love to do. So great work. I do have a caller, and let me see. Bring them in. Let's see right here. I did have another caller here, and I'm sorry I think they hung up. If you want, please call back. But let me bring our next caller into the show and see what they have to say about the database here. Welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Hey, Thomas, it's Beth.
Beth, thank you for calling.
Hello, Beth.
Again,
Hi, Beth.
Good to hear your voice.
Hey, Omar. Hey, Tom.
I heard your voice.
Yeah, long time no see, right?
I know, right? Exactly. So yeah, what do you think about all this? I mean, you're not surprised to see any of this, right? We love seeing all of this stuff, and but yeah, a database of ears. Yeah, that's the Wheel of Time fandom.
Yeah, honestly, like Earwatch is not something I had on my 2023 Wheel of Time bingo card. I'm not gonna lie about that.
There you go.
But I do have a very pressing question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a very, very pressing question, and I'm changing the topic a little bit.
Okay.
But this is the most important question that came up from that video.
Okay.
How many Aiel are really in that background with Bain, Chiad, and Aviendha?
So
how many Aiel are hiding?
All right. So I'm going to answer this. What were the numbers on the Swan thing? Add all of those up. That's how many Aiel were in that. Yeah.
That's how many Aiel were in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is the number. You don't need. I mean, I think I made this comment some other place. You could have 3 Maidens to Spear show up to that big fight at Falma, and they'll still be like, that's enough. I hope it's not 3 Aiel. I hope there was more than that, and that we see a lot of them and they affect the battle. But that I was speaking to a few folks at Jordan Con. The exclamation that happened in that room when you first saw those people show up on the screen was just, it was worth it. We've seen those people before, but the fact that we saw them do hand talk, we saw them say who they are, it was so worth it.
Yeah. So I do want to say, by the way,
Absolutely.
about that.
That's the thing that I was most impressed with. Oh, sorry.
I don't know. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I could hear Bain and Chiad squeal on the other side of the room. She lost her mind. She probably, there was a lot going on for Bain and Chiad last weekend, but I just know if Seventh Heaven exists, she was in it. Yep. Absolutely in Seventh Heaven.
That is true. Omar, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, if you remember when Maria Doyle Kennedy, like we all thought she was Elaida, or at least I did. I was so sure she was Elaida. And then she was Isla, and we're like, oh, okay, maybe. And then her role was amazing, right? She had like one of my favorite scenes in season 1. The same thing with Raga Ragnars. I was so sure she's Birgitta, like so sure. I was like, there's no way she can be anybody else. But with this one, when she was announced to be Bain, just the fact that we, like you said, we do get Bain and Chiad, we do get Maidens, we do get hand talk, all that. That was just an amazing, amazing, amazing surprise. Like I could, like of all the things that they could have given us, to have put that front and center was just like such a gift, and it was really wonderful. So,
yeah, it off the things that if they had given us, let's say, Miracel as Vern, it would not have had the same impact that did. Even though that would be a cast announcement or something like that. Mm-hmm. At least that's how I feel. I mean, because I never thought they were going to give us that to start out with. So, but yeah, no, Beth, thank you for calling in and bringing that up, because we are going to talk about one last thing, and that is related to that. So, thanks for
I was happy to be your official segue into the IEL.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
We've been talking about the Aiel this whole time. We just haven't noticed it. Thank you, Beth. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think the fact that we had seen that behind the scenes, footage of 3 Aiel, Aviendha. So let me actually show this next. Oh, actually, I don't have the actual picture. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was gonna do. We did a analysis, and we can just talk about this of height comparison of that picture of Aviendha with the 2 maidens seeing their back, and the height from the footage from Saturday. I personally think it's a no-brainer that's what this is, and
it was pretty close.
Yeah, the height differential. I mean, it's within the error margin of error. I would imagine. I mean, is there any? Do you guys, either of you, have any doubt that it's not Bain and Chiad with Aviendha?
No, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
I think we'll get very few named Aiel in the second season because let's face it, they can only focus on so many characters at once. Yeah. So the maidens we see might just be. Maybe not solely those 3, but the ones that take up much screen time probably will be.
Right. Again, if you look back to how many named Aes Sedai there were in season 1, not many.
There was there was maybe 6, 7, I think, and most.
And we saw a lot of them in the tower, and a lot of the Reds, before at Logain's, and and all of that. So. And those are Aes Sedai, and those, they're like the main focus of season 1. So the Aiel, I doubt they will be the main focus of season 2. I think there'll be hopefully more than just the 3 of them, but yeah, probably not more named. I would imagine, and I think it'd be fine if we don't. I don't want to maybe see someone like a Ruark or something like that until later on.
When they're important to the story.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So any other thoughts on that? Bain and Chiad, how they would play into the story and that, Omar?
No, but I mean, just to say that we've speculated previously on what do you do. There are storylines of how the girls meet, how Perrin meets the Aiel, and how the girls meet the Aiel, and how the girls get kidnapped, and then how they have that. Dance with Me, Shadow Man, on their way, I think, down to Tyr. So it looks like having Bain and Chiad there, having Aviendha there, and bringing that a little bit sooner, it makes sense. It's a good thing to combine the 2 and just make it into one. So super excited about how they're going to do that. I'm not sure how they'll pull it off, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Hiren's best friend says, any wise ones. I hope so. I think that is important to season 3, and if they start putting that in there, I think it's going to be really important to tease that for many reasons. So I really hope that they actually show.
I would like that to be one of the final shots of the season, like in episode 8. Like just you meet them for the first time. Maybe they take Rand in and they kind of dump the the whole load of what he means to them on him, and then they end the season.
Yeah, I think the other way I've thought of this as Egwene has recurring dreams throughout, and she sees a face or a voice that she keeps hearing, and then we find out who it is at the end, and Rand hears it, and someone just put in Amis and all this. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Cool. There's one last thing that I want to show, and then I can get kind of final thoughts from you guys. This is, and I absolutely love that Jay Duffy's doing this. He's being so active on Twitter. He put this out a few hours ago before we started. He's standing at this the story behind Dain and water. If you follow Twitter of time, there's so much there. But the text is, if you've done what's wrong in service to the light, then you have to do what's right to balance it. It's just wonderful to see him digging into that role and putting stuff out, that kind of stuff out there, and the fact that he spoke pretty candidly about how much that role and that arc means in what was dropped on Saturday. Yeah. So anything that you would take out of that that quote he put out today?
Well, first of all, if it's true that he's standing in front of a body of water in reference to Dain Bornhald from our friend from Twitter of Time,
Yeah.
and the great poop incident of I don't know what year. If that's why he's standing in front of the bottle, but
Yes.
that would be the greatest troll of all time.
Yes.
Somebody needs to ask him about that. And if he does confirm, he is officially the coolest.
No, did you see his other tweet with the Spider-Man meme?
I saw that. But again, if he dug deep and found out about that, that is amazing.
So that begs the question: how long has he been lurking in Twitter of Time?
Yeah. How long has he been?
Okay. Knowing
Probably a
smile
long
by
time.
John. No, I mean I can imagine. We like to believe, and I feel like we say this, that the writers, the crews, they know to some degree what's going on. I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if he knows, if not in detail, some reference to it. Now, did he put this picture today with that? It's possible. You could read into doing something that goes against the light as, the poop incident, but it's just, it would be that would be really meta. Let me put it that way. But it's just wonderful to see interaction from the cast like that. That I hope he continues to do that. I think that would be awesome. So I see Janet saying in chat, they're lost. Who is Jay Duffy? Jay Duffy is the actor who was casted and announced this last Saturday to play Dain Bornhald, one of the White Cloaks, and that's who put out this tweet earlier today. I do see a caller show up now. I think they're the same caller that called in before, so that is awesome. Thank you for calling back. Let me bring them on and see what they have to say. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Hi, this is the Goat Brother. Hi, Anna.
Roger,
Hi,
Goat
John.
Brother.
Hi, Omar.
Hello.
Thanks for calling in. Thanks for. I mean, what time is this in Germany? Thank you for staying up for this and being such a great patron of the Dusty Wheel. And what thoughts do you bring us?
I want to touch on the tattoo because the way I read it in Rafe Street is it's pretty similar to the traditional Polynesian style to get a tattoo. It's not the same style of artwork, but traditionally in Polynesian style, you can't choose your tattoo design on your behalf. It's chosen for you by the tattoo artist, depending on your history and your and the events of your life. And that's pretty much the same as Rafe described it in his following up tweet to the picture itself, that parts of Swan's tattoo are the same as her father's because of their history together.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, John, about that?
I would not be surprised at all because they've taken a lot of real world inspiration from different things. I mean, we've seen with the Waygate, with a lot of the inspiration they took for that. So it wouldn't shock me if they took the idea of how the Polynesians get tattooed and their history, which I'm not super familiar with at all. So I can't talk on it too much. But if that's the case, then absolutely it wouldn't shock me if they did that because we've seen it in season 1 a lot, and it helps them have a basis for keeping things equal and even throughout the episodes. So yeah, no, I would really like that. I think it'd be cool.
I posted, honestly, I don't have good background in that, but I posted something in chat earlier when we were talking about the tattoos, because I do recall, I can't remember who said it, maybe Sarah, maybe somebody else, a long time ago, they said that the Swan's tattoos were influenced by the Berber culture, which is like North African Sahara culture. You'll see them in Morocco, etc. And if you go search for Berber symbols, they do actually have symbols that look close to what the tattoos end up being. And a lot of the symbols actually have meaning. So when they say we developed a language, maybe they took, borrowed, altered, and made it into like like one thing, like, like some of the symbols, if you go search for it, you'll see like a graphic that comes up on Google right away. There's like something that says this is a fish net, this is a man, this is a woman, this is a lizard, this is marriage. So this may be something that takes you along the way on a journey. At least that's when I saw that, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. I think that just speaks to the level of detail that the artists go into doing that, and we spoke about that before. So I would not be surprised that there are these sort of inspirations that people have from the first age, that people do.
I don't think the reference of something like this. I think what Goat Brother is saying, like we've seen them before take things from two different cultures and meld them into one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the cool thing about the show. And honestly, that's been, I think Rafe has said this like 17 times when he said like, just like the world now, the world of the Wheel of Time looks like what our world would look like thousands of years from now, where things melt together and blend together. So
I mean, literally what RJ has said and did, right? Like that is the blueprint. That's what RJ did, and they're following that to perfectly, I think. Yep. Roger, what else do you have to say? I mean, I'm sorry I missed your call earlier, but I saw it and I'm like, now I know what an international call looks like. So now I know your number too. So there's that.
It's fine. That's cool. I really hope, just because I want to sort in stone that the background in the video from Jordan Con, where Ray and Sarah are sitting in, is the stone. I pretty much see the accepted test room, but I deeply hope for the Stone of Tyr because I just want the sorting stone.
All right, so Roger, you're a writer for season 2. How would you include Kalendor and the Stone of Tyr into the show?
That's a question.
All right, no, I do have a thought. I mean, you could take the battle to Tyr. You could have Rand and Ishamel fight in the sky, travel to the Stone of Tyr, and just do crazy stuff like that. It would be a little bit odd to see it like that, because I think for Kalendor to, at least in my opinion, I think Kalendor needs a lot of prophecy. I think that is important to Kalendor.
Yeah.
So if they don't do that, it loses a lot of what it means. If they're actually going to use it, it's okay to use it towards the end of the series, because it matters at the end of the series. And if they can make something else, he's the Dragon Reborn, it doesn't have to be him getting the sword, be the trigger. Yeah. I'm okay with that. But I think there needs to be, if he gets Kalendor in season 2, well, you can't just thrust it back into the stone. That's what happened for 12 books, right? So yeah. I think that's where I feel, as much as I want to see it, there needs to be a reason for it to exist.
I think he could find it under Surath's chair.
Good one. But you can see. Let it work other way around. They start fighting somewhere else through the Stone of Tyr, then to Fauna. Oh. Maybe Rand arrives very late to the battle, and we just introduce the Stone of Tyr. We go back to this room in season 3. I think Sarah already said. I'm not sure.
That's interesting. That's definitely possible.
That they just skim through it. Yeah. You see it. There happens something, maybe a battle and someone gets wounded, but that's not really in line with what they said in the video, right? Yeah. That there is something happening with water, dressing, undressing, and my bad. Yeah, it may be the accepted test.
The only reason I think they showed maybe the Stone of Tyr in season 1, so that was a lot of kind of speculation. Well, they showed something that could have been the Stone of Tyr, so maybe that's why the Stone of Tyr should be there in season 2. But yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with Matt here. I think
I agree with Matt as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other way they could do it is season 3 they go to the waste, get the Aiel, and then the Aiel come and conquer Ruidian. That's what happens. But Rand actually, instead of going to Carian, he goes to Tyr, because then you don't really need the shadow. You can just do invasion of Randland from the Aiel going to Tyr, and then they take down Tyr. Roger, thank you so much.
Right? Everything's fine. That's good. Okay.
Do they need the shadow? But okay. No, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for calling. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, great that you brought that up, and call us again. I'm glad you're up watching us, and call back. So we'll see you back in chat. Thanks.
Matt's wondering what the spoiler level of the show is. I'd say total.
Yeah, and by the way, I do for the Stone of Tyr. I imagine give me what you give me. I don't care, just as long as it fits within the world. But the Stone of Tyr is supposed to be something grand, right? It's like the where Kalandor is. That looked a little bit like a cave, like underground, kind of more confined. Like if you look at the columns and how it's presented on the cover of the book, just kind of it'd be nice to get that feeling of grandeur and like almost like a palace type of place, just ancient, right, and smooth marble or whatever, but not.
And I agree. He can wait.
Yeah,
he can wait. Instead of him leaving Calendar for 32 books, he could just get it the once and have it, which would make it more impactful, because I think the viewers would forget about it.
Yeah. All right, cool. I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about. There are a few things we do at the end of the show, so we're going to do a giveaway soon, and I'll show you a couple other things that I have. Any thoughts from you guys in terms of things that you wanted to maybe discuss that came out today or over the last few days that we didn't press on?
The only thing I wanted to mention is how gorgeous the Aiel looked. That's the costuming, the spears, the bucklers, the bow and arrows they had, the belt knives, and I want to stress this: they were friggin' belt knives. They're not swords. I had a number of people comment on one of my videos saying that they're wearing swords and they're ruining the show. They're not swords. They're belt knives. Like, stop looking for things to hate. But I wanted to say how impressed I was with how good they looked.
Yeah, it looked awesome. Omar, do you have any kind of thoughts? Or
again, this is exciting. I feel like things are starting to pick up. We're starting to see some movement. Obviously, they start filming on April 17th or 18th. That's good. They're going to go through until October, which has me sort of scratching my head a little bit. This is a shorter filming period than we're used to. So I don't know if we're going to see, just fewer episodes, or they're going to finish in Prague and go to Morocco. I'm hoping it's the latter. So we're trying to dig into that, find some more information, but hopefully, we get at least as many episodes as we got in season 1, and we'll get in season 2.
Yeah. Cool. At the 5th reminder from people in chat for me to close the last poll, I'm going to do it right now. At least need that. So I asked, will Dain witness his father dying? 58% people yes. 27% of people think Perrin killed someone again. So thank you for participating in that. So I'm going to put I'm going to start the raffle. Hopefully this works. So it's exclamation yes, Dan Liu, thank you for reminding me. I am putting and starting that right now. And exclamation point raffle in chat. It should have started, and I'm looking right now to make sure that's there. So you'll see that you'll see me say this in a few seconds. But while we do that, let me show you. If you're okay with not having too much of me, I was on a podcast recently, and BARSIDE Chats is back, and basically how not to screw up season 2 is what we discussed at JordanCon. So Matt, Brian, and I recorded this, I think, on Sunday, and I thought it was a fun chat that we had. What's one of your guys' one thing? How, like, do this to not screw up season 2? Omar?
Omar, you want to go first?
Yeah. We need to be a little more solid with the main characters, get some story, get some meat on that bone for Perrin. Like, he needs to move on, and just, again, the heroes need to become heroes at some point, or at least we need to see them directly on that path. It's just kind of, this is fantasy. We need to see them become who they need to be. So, like, I expect to see more, just consequential action from Perrin, Matt, step up, Nynaeve, and, like, I just need to see them become who they are. That needs to happen sometime soon. So.
I totally agree. And then when he said Nynaeve, and I was like, hey, I think Nynaeve did a lot in season 1, but you're right. Yeah. But yeah, I think that is, you've hit the nail right on the head there. We need to see that all of them matter. And I think that the first season was a lot about the Dragon Underborn mystery, but now we need to be sure that all of them matter for different reasons. John, what about you? What do they need to do to not screw up season 2?
Not submit to the explosions per minute.
Yes.
Trope, because Amazon tends to like that. They like the explosions per minute. They think it keeps people enthused. But my favorite scenes in season 1 were, like Omar said, were character development scenes. Yes. I liked seeing Matt and Rand in the inn. I liked seeing them deal with the dark friend Innkeeper. That it was a small scene, or small amounts of scenes in a small area with a lot of dialogue. I like that. I liked them Matt at the farm. I liked Perrin with the Tinkers.
Yes.
All of those were very impactful. The scenes in the tower, the funeral with Lan, very impactful. They were story driven. The scenes I least liked were probably the battle with Logain's forces, things like that. Battle with the Trollocs and stuff near the end. Even the battle for the Two Rivers was very small. It was small. There was a lot of character stuff there with Matt and his family and whatnot. To me, that's the Wheel of Time. Like Omar said, it's characters. It's how they interact with one another. It's not the big spectacle. And I hope Amazon doesn't shift too far into the spectacle because they think it'll sell better than character-driven stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's the characters with flaw and heart, right? That's what it is. I mean, Lumen, if they don't reveal Steve in season 2, the show is unsalvageable. and to that point, I mean, I mean, John, you didn't say if they don't have Gawain, they've screwed it up. So I thought.
Oh, I know they have a Gawain, so that's fine.
Okay, all right.
we have a Brian in season 2.
We have a Brian. All right, I think I'm going to end the raffle in the next 10 seconds. So when you hear this, it's going to end. So let me do that now and see who our lucky winner. And the way I do it, as opposed to what Innkeeper Hatch does, I will mail you a Dusty Wheel mug. Reach out to us on Discord, and let's see who our winner is here. Let's see. Did that work? Did it work?
Brian, host of BARSIDE.
Brian won the mug. No.
Rigged. It's rigged. We had you on this podcast, and now no one's a mug.
This is clearly fixed. I feel like I have to do another one. I like, there's no, Brian, I'll send you a mug. Yeah, I mean, happy birthday, you just had your birthday. I'll send you a mug. Okay, I'm gonna do another one. I'm feeling another one. I feel like this deserves another one. Let me try this. All right, let's see. Brother Zachariah. We met a few days ago too. Congratulations, you have won a Dusty Wheel mug. Brother Zachariah is just a wonderful supporter of pretty much all the live streams and content creators. So I am excited that you won. So reach out to us to me on Discord, social media, and we'll get to that. And Brian, don't reach out to me. All right, so thank you all for being here. Let me show you one last thing. Coming up next Wednesday, we have a show next Wednesday. So let me see if this works. Yeah, we have a cast spotlight on Aiel Smart, who's playing Aviendha, and the wonderful folks from Threefold Talk are going to be guests. And it's kind of perfect because, well, there's a lot of Aiel news recently, and some of the folks on Threefold Talk have met Aiel Smart. I think it was Paradise Now back in January in London at the Bush Theatre. So they were going to talk about Aiel Smart. They've seen her perform. We've now seen her in character, not just pictures, and we saw her do hand talk. So, I'm looking forward to that next week, and we're gonna dig into to Aviendha and what she's gonna bring. Aiel Smart's gonna bring to the show.
By the way, how great was that line? What's your favorite Trolloc? A dead one?
Yeah, that was so good. That was so good.
Pretty much everything that they talked about, their interaction with each other, how they relate to their characters. It was just, it was my favorite part of the whole. There were so many good things, right? I mean, the Sheriam. We didn't even talk about the Sheriam thing, right? Yeah. There's so many things there.
There's so much.
Yeah, so much. But guys, thanks. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think we dug into a lot of stuff, and we have a great show coming up next week. So thanks to everyone in chat to sticking around, and huzzah for no technical problems. I feel like this went. I'm gonna finish it first, so I'm not gonna say anything. All right, but yeah, as we say around here, good evening from the Dusty Wheel, and smash the black.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you, you're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is
really well. And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm not white.
I see Lukomi as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge! Yay!
Like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all of a sudden,
this is not just a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi elements. And just a moment ago, Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guests in here with me, and probably I would say put in 70-80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,